Despite all the doom and gloom and all that stuff that's put out by the alternative media left and right, they always tell you the sky's going to fall every freaking 2 seconds. Buy silver now, well, before it's too late, right? But anyway, actually, if you look at the most visited countries in the world where people want to visit, number one is actually France, which you can freaking believe. If you ever seen the Palace of Versailles, man, that's a hell of an impressive place, to tell you the truth. It's, France is a cool place. I thought so. But anyway, number two is the United States. United States of America, where most people want to go visit. Number three is China. Number four is Spain. That's Spain. Spain has got hell of a lot of good stuff. Number five is Italy. And of course, there's Germany, UK, Mexico, and other places, a lot of places, but Japan. But there's a lot of places out there. But United States is actually number two, where people want to go to visit. Oh, really? We have it so bad here, huh? Oh God, yeah. The sky's falling. I gotta make a freaking blog here about the sky's falling for some U.S. dinero greenbacks. Anyway, get sick of these guys. There is problems, and we're going to go over a couple things. Somebody alerted me to this, and, I suspected this, man. I have to put this out here. It's about Bitcoin. Well, I don't know. Who knows? But it looks like NSA wrote a paper on digital currencies in 1996, and there was a person named Tatsuki Akamoto. It sounds a little bit like the Satoshi Nakamoto when arranged a little, you change a couple letters around. And it's interesting that the NSA actually wrote a paper about digital currency back in 1996, and that the NSA, where actually the digital currency Bitcoin uses the SHA 256 encryption code, which is developed by the NSA. Anyway, but let me put it this way, with this Bitcoin, somebody walked off with the money. The money didn't disappear. Somebody walked off with the money, and I almost guarantee you it's in U.S. dinero dollars. All the way, man. I'll guarantee you it is. Because despite, I don't know, man. I mean, the dollar, I think, is going to be devalued. I agree with that. But is it going to be obliterated? No. If the dollar's obliterated, we're in World War III and the United States lost, okay? That's when the dollar's obliterated. But before that happens, and if that happens, and you know what? If I was taking bets on if there was a World War III, I don't think the United States is going to lose that easy. If it did, So I think everybody's going to lose, actually. But anyway, it looks like there's a lot of manipulation that's going on in gold. And there was an article on the Financial Times which disappeared. That was actually on the Financial Times website, and it disappeared. Basically, it just disappeared. It was talking about gold manipulation and what they do. And you heard that stuff left and right. But, the fact that it was there and then it's no longer there in the archives kind of tells you maybe they didn't want you to know that. I don't know. Right? Little common sense goes a hell of a long way, don't it? But actually, if there is a financial collapse, people aren't going to treat each other very nicely. And that's really what's going to be the major problem. And, people can treat each other a hell of a lot nicely if they prepare ahead of time for any kind of contingency or emergency, because they have the essentials they need to survive. And that's a very important function of why you should do some kind of preparations, because it's always for, unforeseen events. It could be anything, it could be anything. Who the hell knows, There's always something that could come up. Not that you ought to be a worrywart, but being a prepper, if you want to use that stupid term, just how about having material things as insurance is not a stupid thing, okay? I don't even want to use that word prepper. That's a retarded word. Actually, just call it like you're having an insurance policy with some actual material things. Is that stupid? No, that's not stupid. Anyway. Some people are giving me shit because I'm working on these $500 cars. Well, you tell me where you could buy a good Jeep that actually basically has everything in it almost like new. Even though the paint on it is a little worn down quite a bit. where it's going to cost you $500 for a four-wheel drive vehicle, I'll tell you what, I don't think there's around. I think they're more like at least $5,000, no matter what the hell condition they're in. But anyway, I do a lot of that too. I mean, it's my little prepper vehicle. Anyway, there's a lot of indications out here that there's going to be some problems. You heard about, of course, of all the people falling off the buildings and stuff. You know, there was the banker in J.P. Morgan that fell to his death. He was 36 years old. That was in J.P. Morgan in London. You heard about the one who was 33 years old that fell off a roof or something in Hong Kong. There was another one in Connecticut. There was like 8 of them that were like banker death, suicides, whatever the heck they were. And it's indicating that something's coming up. And I did point out before about the Paul Volcker statement about problems really coming to a head if they didn't address them right away in late 2012, that they would really come to a head in around March 2014. Paul Volcker said that, the former chairman, the Federal Reserve chairman. He was an honest guy, really. Big-time honest guy, in my opinion. And also David Walker said something similar, who was... his basic informal title is, it's not his actual title, but it was equivalent to calling him the chief accountant of the U.S. government. David Walker also said something similar. It looks like there's something coming up. But, I'll tell you the truth, man. First off, I know there's a lot of stuff going on between East and West, but, Chinese, actually the wealthy Chinese, are actually moving over to... the United States. That's one of their big destinations. Russians are actually pulling their money out of the banks, right? And over there because they don't trust their financial system. Nobody really knows where to run to. And what's probably going to happen here is there's going to be a lot more going back to the old ancient stables of gold and silver, because people are always jumping off the bandwagon where their country is because they see close up what the problems are. Like in the United States, people will say, oh, we got the worst problems, we got the worst elite, and all this, whatever. Actually, the grass is always greener on the other side of the fence. But, actually people in Russia are not trusting the ruble too much. They don't trust their financial system. I mean, you're talking about people with wealth. And the Chinese are doing the same type of thing over where they are, too. I mean, it's like, there's a lot of stuff going on. Actually, even in the UK, you got the... RBC, Royal Bank of Scotland, they're laying off 30,000 employees. And, I don't know, they had major problems. I forgot what problems they had. They had some major problems during the 2008, 2009 crisis. But, the doors are still open, though. The doors are still open. But it looks like, there's been some indications that, like it was in October 2013, that there was a lot of banks piling up on cash because they feared that people was going to pull out a lot of cash. And I think that was due to possibly the government maybe shutting down or something. Remember that? Now, it doesn't look like the government's going to shut down because, they got it funded with debt until March 2015, right? But does that mean like there's never going to be a problem? I'd say no. I mean, it's almost like, there is going to be problems coming up. I mean, this debt cycle deal is not going to go on forever. And where people get fearful of banks, they do have bank runs, but there is plenty of cash. But you know what? The thing is actually, though, like where people are going to start hitting a light bulb is like, the one's jumping off of one area and going into another area, basically. Because, they're saying, oh, this guy's system is better over here. There's no real safe currency out there. And this is where probably gold and silver is going to start taking off. I think, though, when it takes off, it's going to go past where it should go. It's going to get pumped out there just like they did the deal with Bitcoins, There's, I'm not exactly pumping the metals, per se, because actually, like I said, I'm actually going to start putting more videos out there on how to do stuff, and all that kind of stuff. I like those kind of videos and the health videos too, but there is going to be a panic, and people that are actually in silver right now are in it at the good price. Some people are thinking about selling it at 24, 25. I'm like, I would, well, do what the hell you want. I'm not going to play your financial advisor, but I think that would be really low ball. Consider it almost went up to 50 already. The next time it goes up, I think it's going to, the 50 is going to be questionable if it goes through that. But the next time it goes up, if it goes through 50, 60 is going to be easy. Easy. It might be 72 to 75. That's a hell of a gain from where it is right now. And I don't think it's that far away. The stock markets have been going up again. They hit new all-time low highs. Now, I know I was talking about the 6 Hindenburg omens on that and that they should correct and all that. And this is this third largest, longest bull run we've had. If it goes to July, it would be the second longest bull run we've ever had. But you got to remember, it's not going to keep going up like this forever. And it's going to have to correct because the PE ratios are like basically, way the hell out of whack. The earnings is down on the corporations. They had bad retail sales back in December. And, there's a lot of problems actually in the economy despite them painting the picture very nice. And there's actually a lot of long-term unemployment out there, too. I mean, they're saying the unemployment rate is really low. And if you look at shadow stats, it's like 20-something%. So why was the stock market going up? Well, it's being pumped up. That's what's going on. But, similarly, if it goes down, I don't think it's going to go down like some astronomical amount, like, 70, 80, 90%, like some people are saying. I think 30% or 40% would be, 40% would be a hell of a correction. But, that might be what it is. But you notice, every time, I think you could say the stocks have already made a double peak. And they're making another mini double peak here right now. So something can happen pretty damn quick. I noticed like right before the bubble's ready to break on anything, and I could say the equities are more in a bubble now than anything. Everything goes in bubble, hits bubble mode. Everything at one point in time hits bubble mode. And I'd say the equities are bubble mode right now. But, right before the bubble breaks is where it looks the strongest. That's always the case. And, this is going to be the case with silver and gold. If silver goes through 50, it may go quite a bit past 50 pretty damn fast. But, like I said, it always looks the strongest right before it hits freaking bottom. And that's just what happened with Bitcoin, too. I mean, I don't know what the hell's going on with that deal, but I'll guarantee you somebody walked off with U.S. dollars, man. And the U.S. dollar is not going to oblivion, man. I mean, if you see the bombs falling from Russia or something, then it might. But, I mean, as far as that, before that happens, it's not going to happen at all. There's some things even, too, where they did, there was a computer glitch back in November 2013. And this was something else that came up. Some people are theorizing that this was a test run, or if they do a banking holiday, and it was like all these different things: Wells Fargo, Chase, B of A, Chase, Fairwinds, Credit Union, American Express, and everything. They couldn't, it was in a lot of different states, not every state. It was a few different states actually. They couldn't actually transact, and people were even having problems cashing checks and stuff. So, the way I'm looking at it is, that just could have been a banking glitch too. But, the whole idea is that it's almost like it kind of tells you what could happen. I don't trust anything electronic. I mean, I don't know. If you don't trust the banking system, I don't see why you should trust digital currency, because, you're using something on the internet, and I think the one really major flaw to the banking system is this. EMP, a magnetic pulse that could knock out all electronic communications temporarily, then you're really screwed. If you have a digital currency, you're screwed there too. And if you have silver and gold, you can't eat silver and gold. So, I mean, you might have it as a backup, but the main thing you should always have is your physical insurance, which is food, energy, and water, okay? So, just a little common sense on that. But also, there's a lot of problems in the Chinese banking system too. You know, a lot of people talking about China's hoarding gold and the yuan's going to be the next freaking thing. Well, the yuan is getting clobbered right now, too. I mean, the yuan is getting devalued. Actually, the dollar has went up against the yuan the most, I don't know, in years. I don't know, whatever the hell it is. But the dollar actually gained a lot of strength against the yuan just in here in recent days. You know, so, you know, I can't really... These guys in the alternative media are freaking idiots. You know, they really are. I mean, I don't know what the hell these guys are doing, because it's like either they're working for the Russians or the Chinese, or well, I don't know what the hell they're doing, man. Because they seem to only focus in on any dirt they could find on the West, and they never focus in on any dirt they could find on the Chinese elite or the Russian oligarchs or anything like that. They never do. Never do in a million years. They never look at any corruption over on the other side of the world. They only look at corruption in the West. And, you know, they only look at cracks in the banking system in the United States, but they don't look at cracks in the banking system over in China. HSBC, they got a lot of questionable assets on the balance sheet. They say it's between 64 and 93 billion. And a lot of these things are from the shadow banking system. They got a thing out there, some kind of, I don't know what the hell it is, some kind of stupid name they got it for. It's a trust or something. And, you know, basically the shadow banking system in China is where, people can't get loans because they're not qualified to get it from the normal banking system. So they got these layers outside the bank, the normal banking system that lends them the money. And the shadow banking system really came into being during a highly speculative construction and real estate boom in China, which has collapsed, basically. You know, you see all these ghost towns out there. There's the new Disney that was out there. It's a big ghost town. They try to rebuild a whole city that looked like France, and it's a ghost town, and they're going to tear it down. And they got major problems over in China, actually. There's a lot of problems over there. And like I said, people that have a lot of wealth in China, a lot of them are seeking to move out, and a lot of them are coming to the United States. I don't know. So, you know, we got the worst deal? I don't think so. It's not perfect, but it's getting worse. I know that. But we got the tools to fix it. Always said that. We got the tools to fix it at any time. Also, there was also a problem in Russia in January 2014 where one of Russia's top 200 lenders, MyBank, introduced a 1-week complete ban on all cash withdrawals. How's that? Like I said, you know, the Russians don't even trust their freaking system. And they said the reason was customers are wishing to get out of the ruble because the ruble's getting clobbered. The ruble's going to rubble. You know, I always say that. The ruble's rubble. But I'll take some for free. I'll tell you that. I'll take it for free. You know, it's still worth something. But anyway, Chase alerted customers that they must now... Oh, this is another good one. Chase Manhattan, whatever the hell it is. Chase, whatever, you know... I never liked that bank, but anyway, you know, I use a military credit union. I figure, you know, that's one of the better ones, but anyway, that's one of my banks. Not the only one, I got a few of them, but that's the one I use for checks mostly. But anyway, the Chase alerted customers that they were not going to take cash in their you can't deposit cash in your own account unless you show a valid ID. Oh, like, really? Why? I don't know. I mean, you can't put cash in an account that is not your account. Like, I don't know why you'd want to do that, but they won't allow that to happen either. That's all brand new rules this year. So, you know, usually you think they would take money, right? But I don't know. Maybe it's not money. It's paper, right? So... Anyway, just got to say this, you know, there's a lot of garbage going on within the alternative media, and it's like ridiculous. Oh, I have to also state a little bit about this Major Anatoly Golitsyn, KGB Major Anatoly Golitsyn. I bring his name up quite often. I thought he was one of the most important defectors that ever came to the United States. I know, like, there's a couple things that they say are criticism of him, but you know, one of the main things they said of a criticism of him was that he's too much of a conspiracy theorist, they call him. ex-KGB major analytical agent who defected in 1961. He was a U.S. citizen for quite some time. I don't know if he still is. I'm not sure. Maybe he's a U.K. citizen. I don't know. But he's, I guess he's in his late 80s or something. I think he was born in 1926. So that would be late 90s. I mean, he's he'd be his late 80s. He'd be 88, 87, 88. So I think he's still alive. But he brought up a number of things back at that time, and a lot of people were very upset about him talking about all the moles and spies that the Russians had in the U.S. system. And I'm going to tell you this: well, after the dissolution of the Soviet Union, and it was the Russian Federation, there's been a number of cases where spying has one of big famous cases, even in the major media, proven where there's spying going on, where Russia's spying and trying to influence policy and spying on the U.S., even in 2012. Okay? I got to tell you right now, if something really happens bad, there's going to be a lot of, all these people kissing up on Russia today, all this good stuff, they're going to actually be finding out that they're not the good people you think they are trying to help the United States. Anyway, so let me put it to you this way, that, they ain't too cool. They ain't too cool. The government in Russia is not too cool. I can tell you that right now. Not at all. They're no friends with the West. So, if you look at Major Anatoly Golitsyn, he says he was, they basically he was really in tight with Jim Angleton back at the time. I think it was in the 60s. He was the head of the CIA. And Jim Angleton got ousted because they considered him a little too paranoid, because actually they were doing some tests at that time where they released some information. They found it did get back to through this, it got back to the Soviet Union at the time, and they found out, there is a lot of moles. And even this thing where we got the European Union, that is another step towards a globalist, socialistic, communist type of system. And, that is one of the things that was being pushed by, the inner think tank of Russia, with Gorbachev at the head at that time. A lot of people say, Gorbachev was a puppet of the West. No. The elitists in the West, certain elitists in the West, are very much working with the elitists in Russia. And there's no puppet of anybody. They're both working towards a common goal. So just keep this in mind when you're listening to this alternative media, because it looks like Russians don't trust their own system. Chinese don't trust their own system. The United States is the number two spot to be visited by people in the world, just for even leisure and travel. And France is number one. And French Revolution, man, 1789, man. You know what I mean? No screwing around, right? Anyway, so I know there's some French bashers out there, but France got a lot of cool things too. So anyway, over and out. I just want to give you a quick update on this deal, because it looks like there's some stuff coming up, but the U.S. has the best tools to fix everything. The people can do it as long as they get off their dead ass and fix it.